Greetings, this is Big Brother. This is an origin story of me. Just like the comic book villain, everybody needs an origin story. So, why should you have to listen to anything I should have to say other than my limited experience? Well, alright. I've been selling online for 8 years. I started off with an Etsy account. That was like 9 or 10 years ago, to be fair. And I crafted and sold items that I crafted. Very much into the gaming community, as this crap here is, but these are all prototypes. These I'm going to keep around because, anyway, I figured out how to make a slew of these things. And they were, different sizes. Some had leaves. I might have put little minuscule flowers on them, whatever. But basically, it's just an Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors, I guess. Um, yeah, so I figured out cost, speed, time, materials, all that stuff, and then sold a 5-pack of these for about $20. And 5 of them would take me about, I don't know, if I really sped up production, I could get about 5 of them done in between 20 and 30 minutes. And it's just hot glue and paint, so uh, materials were none. I did pretty good at that. This here is a prototype. I eventually changed all the parts over to plastic so they'd last longer. But yeah, it's just a wand because players like props. And again, after I figured out materials, these would take longer to make, but spray paint, get it done quicker, and then the rest is just glue and logistics of figuring out where these goes. That was a little time intensive, but meh. Again, something like this would take about 20 minutes to half an hour to make, but I sold the wands substantially more. I was getting close to $30 for a wand, 35 for one that had moving parts. So, you know, uh, like I said, players like to have parts. Here's some shit I did. By the way, they're solid. uh, One of my favorites of the bunch is my beholder. He's not for sale, he never was. But I was trying to figure out how to make them as quickly as possible with the cheapest amount of materials as possible. Learning cost of goods, learning workflow, what's a good way to say if I made 5 of these in a row, how quickly could I get it done? And then put them on like an assembly line and jam them together as quickly as I can to get all my starting funds as low as... Anyway, you know how business works. I'm just pretty much showing them off at this point. This one here is pretty cool. What do you think? Arr. Wait, it's got that hole in it. What possibly could it be? Grab some of my nerdy dice over here. But it's a dice rolling machine. Put your dice in there. They come out down here. Meanwhile, this is one of the last things I did. I never got down the speed. Cost of materials on this was just way too high. This is great stuff, in the can. That stuff isn't cheap. These little what look like copper nerds. They're not. Those are just plastic beads you can get at any craft store. But buying them in bulk was hard at the time. There were some other logistics. This one I think would have sold for, I don't know, what do you think? Would you pay $30 for it? Well, I guess if you were a nerd, you might. Nerd! Anyway, that's my proof into my Etsy shop. Anyway, I did that for about a year, off and on. It wasn't serious. I just, sold the little plant things more than anything else. But, occasionally I would sell this. This is one of those Quaker Oat things, by the way, if you can't tell, and then cap it up with things, toilet paper tube. They're easy to make. I had a good time crafting. It was fun. It was a release. And much like the reseller community, the crafting community is so generous and so nice and so supportive. All this and the other. I think more so than the reselling community. You see reseller videos that have multiple thumbs down. You don't see that on the crafting videos side of things. I mean, you can sit there and say, "Oh, that sucks. That's ugly, dude." I mean, seriously. Who's gonna say that without the fear of getting punched? Anyway, I did that for about a year. So that's where I got my feet wet as far as online sales. I had 5,000-6,000 comics because I was a hardcore comic book collector.
Someone has mixed an Amazing Spider-Man in with the Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man series. This will not stand.
One of those people that would be nitpicky about the grading of comics. That's where I was in that level of collecting. Anyway, you're talking like 6 or 7 long boxes. They're long boxes. Long boxes. I can't get it all on the screen. Anyway, I needed to sell them off, so I started asking around to the comic stores and people I know. Nobody's wanting to pay. The best price I got was 30% of value. Screw that noise. I said, no, I'm going to get as close to full value as I could. Started looking it up, knew about eBay, was already selling on Etsy, so I fired up an account and decided to give it a go that way. Watched tons and tons of videos, most of them all the wrong people, and kind of figured it out myself, how to do things. Things are a little different back then. I remember my first 3 sales. Do you remember your first 3 sales? I remember my first sale was actually a lot of 3. That's what I mean by that. It was AMS, $2.98, $2.99, and $300. AMS, Amazing Spider-Man. And issues number 300 has a special significance in the comic world. And I bought it off the shelf when it was new. But that was. I sold those 3 for $350. $2.98 and $2.99 were in near mint condition. Nothing wrong with them. They look as good as the day they came off. And number 300. I later found out had a light scratch on the back, the part you never display. So I sold those. I got $350 of them, and the best I could get out of the comic book store was like $90 for those 3, and one of them was $50. So I'd say I did well. Comic book store is only going to give me $100, and I made it was $350 minus taxes and stuff. I don't think the taxes much have changed over time, so $300 for a few comics. Pretty good idea. Anyway, I started with it. Everybody is saying, you know, comics aren't worth crap, and everybody's talking about births, deaths, marriages, you know, stuff like that. Those are the ones that sell. Don't listen to those people. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I do have that advantage of being very knowledgeable in the comic world, so I use that to my advantage. And it's still true today. If you come across anybody that says, hey, look, it's only the key issues they're going to sell, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You have to do a little digging. You have to do a little research. If you see them comics out at the garage sale and you think they're too expensive, don't walk by them. But if you got a chance to buy a bulk lot, like lots of boxes of them, what people don't realize is that collectors, such as myself, also collect the inkers, the writers, story arcs. That's where I made most of my money. I was selling off all the issues in between that nobody else could sell, apparently, according to all the videos out there. But I was selling them off. I was doing better than I was if I were to sell them to a comic book store or another private person. I always think outside the box. You always think from a collector's point of view, from the buyer's point of view. If you can do that as a seller, then you increase your chances of selling your product. Yeah, I preach that all the time. I say, learn this stuff, get to know it, make it part of your family, so you can sell off like you're selling off your family. But that's my background. Started off in Etsy, did that for about a year. I never count that year. That was, Wild West. But if you're gonna do that, that was 2011. In 2012, I opened up an eBay account. I have 2 accounts on eBay. I have a main account. You guys will never see it. That's mine. That's private. Some aspects of my life need to stay private, and that's one of them. I have a secondary account. You guys have seen that one. And that one I'm willing to share with everybody, and I'm okay with that. I've been going to auctions and garage sales, and doing all the forms of sourcing I see everybody else do it, including private picks and clean outs. I mean, I know guys that do clean outs. I physically couldn't do them myself. But I know those guys, and they'll give me a call every once in a while when they come across the nerdy stuff, because they know I like the nerdy stuff. And what do I mean by the nerdy stuff? Well, I mean Dungeons and Dragons, that's nerdy. Comic books, that's nerdy. They know I like toys. They're always out on the lookout for certain manufacturers of toys that I like. They also cater to other people, so I'm not the only guy that buys from them. So I don't get to pick what they call me for, because they come across jewelry and stuff like that, but that goes to somebody else. So I miss out on that, but it's out there. It's easy to find those things. You can't be afraid to talk to people. That's all there is to it. If you are afraid to talk to people, I think you aren't going to do very well. I mean, I'm not going to say you're going to fail. It's not that kind of business. But you need to learn how to open up and go up and talk to people. If you have a question to ask somebody, then you need to ask it, and instead of just speculation. So I've sold on eBay for 8 years. I've showed you my what sold videos. I've gone to auctions time and time again. I've seen them. I've done them. I've been to every kind of auction there is. I've been to car auctions. You know, let me know if you're interested in that. I could take you to one. I'm not going to buy a car. That isn't going to happen. I've been to estate auctions. It usually takes place at a courthouse. But I've shown up just to see what it takes, see what it's like. And it's, honestly, it's just like 4 or 5 dudes standing around in the rain waiting for the court guy to come out. Okay, bidding opens at 135. And then it goes up in $10,000 increments from there. It's not much different than any other auction, honestly. Um, it's fun. It's exciting. I like sourcing when I can. It's getting close for time for me to leave to go to an auction. As a matter of fact, I've been doing this for 8 years. I go to auctions. I go to garage sales. I do all the sourcing. I'm sorry I'm not charismatic and happy and bubbly and I'm not that kind of person. I'm just the facts, ma'am. That's what I am. There we go. 8 years online. You guys seen my other videos of my store. If you can't figure out what my store is, any idiot should be able to figure it out. And that's a brief history of anyway, this is Big Brother. Hey, thanks for checking me out. I know I don't have over 100 subscribers. I thank everybody that watches my videos. I'm gonna keep putting them out regardless because I like to. Anyway, you guys be profitable and ta-ta for now.